So it's been said a bard's life can often be a hard life, or hill and jail to rove and always move from town to town. And some folk have inquired if ever we grow tired of ranging all around the world and never settling down.
But one should be a little wary of remaining stationary. 'Cause comfortable is lovely, but it's not the way we grow. When life starts to unravel, pick up your pack and travel. You'll find a strange serenity in places you don't know. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-da-terry-o-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. You've got no map for showing which direction you are going.
But why start on a journey if you know where it will end?
And once you recognize,
to anticipate surprise, you'll relish every twist and turn that lies around the bend. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-da-terry-o-dee-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. The world has got its demons. There are many reasons why you'd find it harder to be brave than be afraid. But every life could use some danger. Every friend was once a stranger. Ships are safe in harbor, but that's not why ships are made.
Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-da-terry-o-dee-da-dee. A fwit-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Adventures waiting further down the road. Let's go! Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. La-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Greetings, friends, and welcome back to Gothic Horror Gaming. A new year, a new adventure awaits us. Before we get started, I do want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. I'm going to do that first and get that out of the way right away. First of all, I'd like to thank our perennial sponsor, renadventures.com. RenAdventures.com. We've got coming up on June 2nd through the 7th, Muncaster Castle in England. We'll be playing D&D during the day and in the evening, and then touring all around the castle and in the surrounding environs. It's a little bit north of Manchester, England, if you're curious as to where Muncaster Castle actually is, up in Cumbria. So we'll be doing all sorts of wonderful things there. Your dungeon masters are myself, Ryan Gelodi, a frequent individual on this channel, as well as our fearless leader, Paulo Garbanzo. So check that out on renadventures.com. Also want to thank 3D2U, 3D2U.org. They make 3D printed and laser woodcut gaming accessories, dice trays, dice boxes, all that sort of thing. They're good friends of ours, 3D2U.org. And of course, we'd like to thank ourselves, where we have a book out. Handler Z in the background handling the comments section. And she writes the stories. I narrate them. We have a book called Dare, collection of short fiction and poetry, available on Amazon as a Kindle, also as a paperback, and also as an audiobook. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. For those of you who are new, which I do not know who out there has not been here before, but allow me to warn you. This is a horror game, a horror tabletop role-playing game. So we are going to be dealing with themes of death, dismemberment, violence, gore, blood, guts, veins in my teeth, kind of thing. So please be aware that that is a thing on this channel. If that is not your cup of tea, we understand. Please enjoy some of our other lovely offerings here on Nat 21. But be warned that there is a bit of horror elements in this show. Also, I want to give you an idea of what exactly that means. So we are playing in the Chill universe. Chill is a game that was created by Mayfair Games back in the 80s, I believe. Tabletop role-playing game. It's gone through several hands and several iterations. But essentially, in the Chill universe, the supernatural is real, but it is not generally well known. However, it is usually also very evil and very powerful. There is an organization that has come together to sort of fight this. It was started in the 1800s, 1844, I believe. The Society of the Eternal Silver Way. You can see its Latin name right there. It's where we get save from. The Save organization, currently headed up by a gentleman named Gordon Pym. So that is the basic scenario. Our characters have done some missions for Save in the past. They're just normal humans, however, as the only prerequisite to be a member of Save is to encounter the supernatural and survive. So our players are indeed those individuals. The game system we use, however, is a little different. It is called Over the Edge. It is a wonderful indie game that was put out in the 90s. And the character creation is very simple. You have 3 traits for any given character. You have a primary trait, 2 side traits. These traits could be anything. Let us say you have a policeman, and that is your primary trait. And your 2 side traits you have decided are amateur photographer and devoutly religious. Now, anytime you want to do something in the game, you would roll a number of D6, depending on whether what your activity was doing would fall into one of your traits. So, for instance, our policeman, his primary trait is policeman. He wants to shoot his firearm. That he would be very well trained in that. He would roll 4d6 and attempt to hit a target number. Add those 4 dice together. Now let us say he is attempting to recall a particular Bible passage for some reason. He is devoutly religious, is his side trait. So in that case, he would roll 3d6. Now, if he was attempting to rewire a fuse box, that's not underneath any of his skills. He would instead roll 2d6. You in Twitchlandia can help by spending your Twitch points with our new Twitch moderator over in the side. Dracula's stepdaughter is over in the side there, taking over for Sir David Percival. Thank you so much for being with us, Dracula's stepdaughter, and filling in this role. We really appreciate it. But you can spend your Twitch points and declare who you want to buy a help for. One of our players or me, the game master. What that help does, it allows us to roll an extra d6 and then take the highest of what we would normally be allowed to take. For instance, our police officer is attempting to fire his firearm, but he has a help in the background, stocked away. So he chooses to spend that help. He declares it before he makes his roll. So instead of rolling 4d6, he would instead roll 5d6. However, he would still only take the 4 highest, as that is what he would normally be allowed. It basically gives you a chance to get higher die rolls on the individual die. So those are the rules. That is pretty much it. That is all we've got. So why do we not begin with our new session tonight, which I like to call Gray Skye? We start in Dean's Bar in Tangiers, where we find our perennial ne'er-do-well and general fixer, Lucas Evans. Lucas was in the middle of... Lucas, how have you been since the Greek...
Well, mostly laid low. I made some new friends who have been pretty instrumental in getting Dean's Bar up and running the way I want it to. But I haven't really been out and about as often as I'd like.
Yeah, indeed. Well, you're in Dean's Bar, and it is time to open at the respectable hour of 1 in the afternoon. Getting ready to open for the day. When you hear the door uncharacteristically open this early from the outside, and in walks a familiar figure. He is a man of average height, average weight, very nondescript, slightly graying at the temples, in a plain gray suit. It is none other than Gordon Pym, your contact with the SAVE organization. He walks in off the street, brushes some dust off of his sport coat, and says, Mr. Evans, it's good to see you being well.
Where were you last time?
I was dealing with an incident. As you know, the actually, can we speak somewhere in private?
Yeah, I take him back to my back office.
He walks in. Yes. So apparently, the box, you remember the box?
Yes.
Is no longer in our possession. I was out trying to find out where the box went, while I also had heard about the possibility of being able to open the box with the dataless device. As I could not be in 2 places at once, I asked you and your compatriots to find the dataless device while I went after the box. I am glad you were successful, as I was not.
So, it was you who asked us to get it.
Yes.
All
I
right.
can understand your skepticism. There are some forces at work behind the scenes that, quite frankly, make me uneasy.
You're telling me. Well, what's the plan now?
Now I need your help. Normally this is not the sort of thing that would even come across our desk, but 2 seemingly random murders have occurred in the past 8 days on the Isle of Skye in Scotland. Not normally something that would catch our attention, but the second man, before he passed away from his injuries, was repeating a name over and over and over.
And the name?
Nalarthotep.
Boy, oh boy.
As you and your compatriots have dealt with his followers before, we thought perhaps you would be the best to see if this was anything.
Oh, it's something, all right.
Likely. Very likely.
Well, do you have a rendezvous point, or are you sending everybody this way?
We were going to have everyone actually meet in Bordeaux.
All right.
It would be a convenient place to meet from where you are all currently scattered to the winds in order to get to Scotland. Everyone except for Dr. Smith, who conveniently is already in Scotland.
All right.
We will arrange for him to meet you once you arrive in the British Isles.
Well, I'll start packing. Hey,
Thank you.
Pim, it's good to see
Yes.
you.
Mr. Evans, I am delighted to see you as well. Proceed with caution.
Always.
And he walks out of the front door of the back room, walks through the bar, out the front door of the bar, and directly into a waiting goat cart, which then goes off down the road. Meanwhile, Speedy Pete Boyd is in Athens.
Welcome to Speedy Pete's cargo delivery service. Fast, cheap, or discreet. Pick two.
Very good. You have relocated yourself to the Mediterranean.
Indeed. Yes.
You were there briefly and assisted people, I believe. Were you not?
I spent the first part of my career in the Pacific.
Yes.
Hence the map. This is my first time, or only recently arrived in the Aegean area.
Oh, that is correct. You were not available. That's why they took so many boats. Oh, you would have been very handy last time.
Got to keep Speedy Pete employed.
Very good. So you are in you have a little office set up on the pier. It's just basically a shack set up on a wooden pier. Your float plane, the Loon. For those of you who forget what Speedy Pete has, he's a pilot of an aircraft much like this. In fact, that exact model.
Mm-hmm.
He is. It is moored out there on the end of the dock.
It's a
and as you
Balanca
walk on out-
CH-300, if anyone is an aircraft nerd.
Yes. It's a Balanca.
Yeah.
Balanca
CH.
As you're walking out from your office out to walk out onto the pier and take in the morning, you hear a splashing sound along the dock, and looking down, you see a rowboat and a familiar-looking man rowing up to you. He's nondescript in a gray plain suit. It is Gordon Pym, and he pulls up to the dock in his rowboat and says, hello, Mr. Boyd, sir.
Mr. Pym.
Permission to come aboard.
This is a dock. You don't have to ask that.
Oh, yes, of course.
Also,
And
I'm not a boat captain, but sure.
He appears a little confused. He manages to climb up onto the dock and loosely ties the rowboat around on one of the pier pilings. Yes, Mr. Boyd. Can we speak in your office for a moment?
Certainly. Step right in here. And it's a 5x5 space with a single chair in it.
All right. He takes one step and he's inside.
Can I get you anything? There's absolutely nothing to offer him inside.
I'm fine, thank you. I cannot stay long. You recall that you retrieved a key for us.
Yes, the Magellan's key.
Magellan's key, yes.
Yes.
And you watched me destroy that key.
Yes.
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 That box, which I was trying to prevent from being open, has gone missing.
Oh,
And we have reason to believe that those cultists that you met when attempting to get Magellan's key of the entity known as Norarthotep, we have heard of their activities on the Isle of Skye in Scotland, and we are hoping that perhaps you could look into it. We, of course, can compensate you for your lost revenue while you are away from your new home base here.
of course. Yeah, happy to help.
We are hoping to get the box back before anything untoward happens with it. So I've arranged some of your former compatriots to meet in Bordeaux, and then from there to Scotland, where you can meet the other members of your group. If you could, here, and he pulls out a checkbook and writes out some checks for you. If you could get the Swan, your plane. I'm sorry,
Loon.
the goose. I'm sorry, what was it?
Loon.
The pelican. I'm sorry.
Well, let me just clear my schedule. And there's a hanging on the wall is a single clipboard. There's nothing on it.
Very well.
Pulls the piece of paper off, blank piece of paper, crumbles it up. Schedule clear.
Very good. Yes, if you could be there, that would be wonderful, and you could meet everyone in Bordeaux.
Of course.
Here's the information of the hotel where I'm having everyone meet.
I'll be there.
Gives you the information. This is a bit tricky, so I do have to say, please proceed with caution.
Somehow knew you were going to say that.
He then exits your office, goes back, unties his rowboat, and just starts rowing out into the middle of the Aegean Sea. Meanwhile, in Paris, Dr. Sabine Clément is in, unsurprisingly, a hospital, and is also muted.
Mais bien sûr, but of course.
So you are recovering from your injuries sustained on the island of Crete.
Indeed, I had more than a few broken ribs and my shoulders were not in good order. But yes, I am here in Paris in the finest hospital and was recovering nicely. And then I accidentally started to practice medicine while I was here. It is not my fault if the other doctors were not doing things properly.
I see. Well, as you are there working one day in March, there is one of the orderlies comes in and says, "Pardon me, Dr. Sabine?
Maybe?
There is a man out here to see you. He is very strange."
Ah, bien sûr. Send him in, please.
And shortly thereafter, in walks none other than Gordon Pym. His arm is in a crudely made sling, but you notice he actually opens the door with that arm in the sling. It is clearly meant to be a disguise and not a very good one.
Ah, Monsieur Pym. Subtle as always.
Thank you. He seems a little bit taken aback, then remembers that he's in France. Oh yes, of course. I see that you have recovered nicely.
Indeed.
Oh,
I had great doctors here.
Indeed, and now you are amongst them.
But of course, I seem to cannot help myself.
Oh, indeed. I'm pleased. However, he closes the door behind him. There is something that has come up that I could certainly use your help with.
Ah, of course.
The cult of Nerarthotep has surfaced on the Isle of Skye in Scotland.
Ah,
I have some of your past comrades meeting in Bordeaux to travel to meet Dr. Smith, who's in Scotland, and then to travel from there to deal and investigate. We do not know exactly what. It was just the name repeated by a man who was mortally wounded over and over again.
oh, alas.
So we're not sure if or what is happening there. If you could take a look, we understand that you and your compatriots have the most experience dealing with this group.
Indeed, we do. Too much experience, if I say so.
Indeed. Thank you so very much. I do appreciate it.
Of course.
How has the I imagine the procedure and recovery of your injuries might have involved some things you've had some problems with the past. How are you?
I'm quite well.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad that you are staying on the clean side of things.
Indeed.
Well,
the last time was too close.
Yeah, indeed. I do have a small packet of information where the hotel and what little information we do have here, as well as a couple of checks in there for you to cover your expenses.
As always, you have sort of everything.
Well, not everything, otherwise I wouldn't be in this problem. If I could only figure out who took the box and where, that would alleviate things. But perhaps you will find out on Skye.
Let us hope.
Good luck, and as always, proceed with caution.
Merci beaucoup. Until next time.
He takes off the sling, wraps it around his neck like a scarf, tucks it in, and walks out.
Okay.
Very well. Meanwhile, in Edinburgh, we find one Dr. Montana Smith, reading in his study, apparently. Relaxing in his office, I suppose.
Yes. Office
very
hours.
good.
Office
How
hours
have you
are
been
tomorrow.
since the excursion to Crete?
Well, lost my position at the University of Pennsylvania, and I was able to call in a favor with an old friend here in Edinburgh, where I used to live in the early 20s, and I am now here lecturing at the University of Edinburgh in the Classics Department, College of Classics, History, and Archaeology.
Excellent. You go into class to give a lecture one day, and you notice that none of your students are there, except for one who's sitting as you walk in the door. He's facing the lecture board, but he doesn't look like any of your students. He's wearing a nondescript gray suit, dark hair, slightly graying at the temples, and as you open the door, he turns around. It is none other than Gordon Pym. Good. Dr. Smith, I'm glad you're here.
Office hours are on Wednesdays.
Indeed.
I turn and walk out of the classroom
All right. And where do you go?
to my office.
All right. You open your office door and go in. Sitting in the chair is Gordon Pym. Dr. Smith, I'm glad you're here.
You are really determined for those office hours, aren't you?
I am. I would not normally disturb you, but this is something. Can we speak? Can you close the door? We can speak in private, please.
I close the door.
Nerlarthotep. That name, you've heard it.
Yes.
The cultists, they've appeared again. They're on the Isle of Skye, here in Scotland.
Oh, come on.
We've asked your other former compatriots to come and meet you. If you would be amenable, we might be able to find out if they have the box, and if so, where it is.
Wait. I'm sorry. What? If they have the box?
You recall me telling you that the box has gone missing.
Yeah, but they have it.
We suspect they have it. We do not know. That is what we're hoping you can find out.
So you can appear in my office chair having beat me from my classroom. I took the shortest route to get here. And yet, okay.
I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about.
No. Totally fine. Totally fine. So what is it this time? More minotaurs? More what else? Italian fascists? Is it mysterious gods who melted down conquistadors? What is it now?
Oh, 2 murdered men. That is all that we know of, except that the second man was still alive when he was discovered. He expired shortly thereafter, but he just kept repeating the name Nerlarthotep over and over and over again before he expired. Unfortunately, that is all we know.
Okay. I'll need to clear my class schedule for a few days.
Of course. I'm sorry to do this to you so suddenly, but perhaps you could meet the other members of your former group. We are having them. They should actually be coming here to Edinburgh by way of Bordeaux. So you would have an extra day to get ready before they arrived.
Fantastic. Could we? Is it possible to take them all out to dinner at the King's Arms?
I don't see why not. There's a stipend and some information. What little information we have here, and he gives you a folder of the information with some a couple of checks in it for you.
Thank you. All right. Anything else?
Proceed with caution.
It's the last time.
I hope so. And he gets up, smooths out his suit, and walks calmly out, down the hallway, and out the front door of the lecture building. Like a normal human being. And with that, Dr. Sabine, Lucas Evans, and Speedy Pete Boyd meet up in Bordeaux. Speedy has flown there, and so he has conveyance for you from Bordeaux to Edinburgh.
Is there a logical reason why we picked Bordeaux?
It was because of where Lucas was and where you were.
Ah, okay.
That way you could sort of gather together and then go up to Edinburgh. Arranging transport to Edinburgh at this point it would have been a long route.
Yeah.
But you having a plane makes things a lot easier.
Fabulous.
Yes, because it was
yes,
putting
the
it placed
map.
on the map at the time. So as to skip forward a little bit, you have arrived in Edinburgh with Dr. Montana Smith, and he has taken you all out to dinner so you can discuss what is going on. And I can also discuss to you the information that is in the packet of what they know.
You call
All
this dinner? What is this? Pie? You call it pie? Oof.
Listen, they
No.
boil a lot of things here. It's fine.
Would you like bangers and mash?
I'm
You got
sorry.
like a cheeseburger or something?
No.
Bangers and mash?
Bangers and mash, sausages, mashed potatoes.
Absolutely not.
Haggis? You want some haggis?
Haggis? No.
Haggis.
The Glue Master actually would love some haggis right about now.
Breakfast haggis is great.
I fantastically love it. So you have met in the packet. Basically, it says that in the village of Broadford, on the Isle of Skye, on March 10th, a man was found dead with several puncture wounds throughout his body. He was found on the old Odell Pass Road that links Broadford with the little village where the ferry that goes to the Isle of Skye, Kyler is. There's a road that goes through. He was found on that. That would not normally be anything of huge note, except that on March 16th, another man was found with similar wounds, still alive, mumbling the name Nalarthotep until he expired when he was finally got to Broadford, when he was conveyed into town. The first man was Callum Milligan. And the second man was Liam Hendry.
When you say puncture wounds, were these like they were stabbed with a knife, or they were like exsanguinated, or?
From the report that you are reading, it seems like the fact that it was a knife was ruled out because it was too large and circular of a wound.
Okay. So
Does it resemble some kind of bite or?
There is no further description in there. It just basically says the size of the wounds rules out. It specifically says the size of the wounds rules out a knife.
Did they know each other?
There's no information in this packet about that.
Real quick, could you spell Naratotep?
It is NYRATHOTEP, and then I believe it's THOTEP, but I have to double check that. I'm sorry, I missed an A. NYARLATHOTEP.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just wanted to have it so I could say it later.
If there were any more consonants, we'd wind up in Wales.
yeah,
That's true.
Fun fact: the twisted brain that produced that name, many of the names that he created were never meant to actually be said out loud.
Huh.
He was just putting.
Yep. Cthulhu
putting
was
letters
never
on
supposed
paper.
to be pronounced Cthulhu.
Yeah.
I got to go on a tour of his hometown.
Providence.
Providence.
Well,
All right. Well,
then.
obviously, based on these wounds, this is the work of Chupacabra.
Chupa, what?
Chupacabra, the Scottish goat sucker.
I do not think that is from Scotland.
They don't.
Chupamacabra.
Oh God, I almost made. Oh, let's say it anyway. They don't really suck goats here. They blow them and call them bagpipes. I realized I just made a blowing goats joke. Thank you. We've been demonetized.
What is that about
But we do
Aggies?
know what's going to happen in the TikTok, so that's fine.
There it is.
Guess who got demonetized?
Whoops.
Not that we were monetized anyway, but you know.
Yeah.
So I guess we should.
Kiltacabra.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh.
boo.
No.
Obviously, Chupamacabra.
Yes, clearly.
So, how do we get to this Isle of Skye then? Dr. Smith, you are the one who lives here.
Well, we are on the opposite side of the country from Isle of Skye, and there's no direct train that can take us there. But we could probably get there if we go. I haven't been there myself, but we could probably get there if we go to Glasgow first.
Actually, your best bet is to go to Inverness,
Oh, see,
and then from there you can go across the country. There is a rail that does go over there, or there's somebody might have another option for you.
in this economy.
I've been in that plane enough to know that I am a fan of train travel. It's nothing against your flying, my friend. It is merely a.
As long as we are not.
I'm pretty sure I have a chart here somewhere. I'll be fine.
You know, Speedy, we have some really tall mountains out here, right?
Yeah, it's I have a plane. I could go.
But you're not gonna
kind of see him coming.
You're not gonna like hit it. Like we have fog too, man.
Okay.
Look, as long as we are not slingshotted off of a boat, I am fine.
Come on, that was great. That was fun, right?
Yeah, it was pretty great.
It was not what I would consider fun.
Well, potato.
Very well. You can fly there, and it's a surprisingly, when you don't have the mountains to deal with, when you can go over them, it is only about 125 miles to the Isle of Skye.
Well within range.
Plus, it'd be good to have your plane around there anyway.
Indeed. Never know when we need a quick getaway because somebody has a habit of murdering people.
I don't know.
Now, when
what
you
you're
say
talking
habit,
about.
we more than one.
I guess it was really just the one time, but
It was
still.
the one time.
Okay.
Do we have to mention this? I mean,
Monty, I was
Like-
fine not bringing it up.
this is the kind of thing that'll give somebody a drinking problem. I mean, like, do we really have to go there?
Speedy Pete Boyd wasn't there for it.
Oh my! Fascists! What you gonna do?
Kill him.
I mean,
Sorry, is that rhetorical?
Asked and answered. Here we go.
All right.
oh goodness! All right.
Let's you can tell me the story on the trip. then.
I'll tell you on the plane. There was a guy named Ox, good guy. You'd like him.
Oh,
It's from Iowa.
Monsieur Ox. He was very kind.
Hmm.
And very large, just a big.
But, yeah, that kid was a haystack. I mean, ugh.
Got a postcard from him not too long ago. There was no message. He just wrote his name.
Oh,
Where was the postcard sent from? At least letting you know where he was, or
It was a picture of a tree. It's a nice picture. It's a nice picture.
Yeah.
okay. Good for Ox.
Yeah.
So somewhere that has trees.
Mhm.
Okay, got it.
We could rule out the Dakotas.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? You're not wrong.
Most of Wyoming.
Mhm.
A lot of Montana.
Mhm.
All right, so we
And
get
a
on this
surprisingly
plane.
large amount of Minnesota.
Ah,
Paul
so
Bunyan.
shall we?
notwithstanding.
Yeah, shall we fly the friendly skies?
Very well.
Indeed.
All
Petey
right, are you
Boyd, I
serving
need you to
drinks?
make a piloting roll in general to see how you can see how it goes.
Sure. Easy peasy. This is what I do.
4d6.
Okay. A respectable 12.
All right. You discover that there is one airport on the Isle of Skye. It is
Airport.
in the it's basically a runway, and it's in the
Runway?
village of Breckish, which is adjacent to Broadford.
I don't
But
want.
Broadford also has a harbor.
Okay. All right. Great. That's what I'm after. The harbor.
Fun fact: to this day, that is the only airport on the Isle of Skye. By the way,
Cool.
so it's about a 2-hour flight there. It does
Great.
not take you all that long. You do manage to get into Broadford itself without too much difficulty. It is a small. It is halfway between a village and a town. There's probably about 900 people that live here. It's a relatively small community. To give you an idea of what it looks like, here is a picture of Breckish, the village of Breckish, which leads to Broadford. Much of the coast is rocky, and the interior is moorland. As you can see from the background picture, that is what much of the Isle of Skye looks like on the coast, and then the interior looks a lot like that. So you fly in. It's a gray afternoon. The clouds hang perpetually over Skye. Only occasionally will they clear and show their blue. You're approaching spring, so the sun rises around 6:30 and sets likewise around 6:30. So you've arrived at about 2 p.m. When you finally get to Broadford. You manage to flag down the harbor master. He's a little perplexed as what to do with a float plane at first, but quickly comes around and manages to get you moored up and docked. And you are now in the town of Broadford. In your packet, you did discover that there is a very nice hotel for which you have the funds if you so desire. The Broadford Hotel, and for those of you with an eye on history, it is the birthplace of Drambuie. Legend has it that Bonnie Prince Charles gave the secret recipe to the proprietor of the Broadford Hotel, and they've been the home of it ever since.
Aw.
Delightful.
Thanks, Bonnie Prince Charles.
I knew a dancer named
Yeah.
Bonnie Prince. She had a number with the ostrich feathers. Oh, we're here.
I mean, like, not a lot we can thank Bonnie Prince Charlie for, but hey, you know what? I'll take it.
Well,
Other
let's
fun
get,
fact for those of you who are music nerds, Jethro Tull has a song called Broadford Bazaar. It is about this town.
Delightful. Oh,
Well, if we start listening to it now, by the time we start gaming next week, we'll have heard half of it. So that sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah.
gotta
It's
love
not
the
thick as a
food.
brick. It's not thick as a brick. It's all right.
I have found a cat in Scotland.
Oh yeah,
There are many.
find a lot of them there.
Mm.
So shall we get some rooms and get comfortable?
Yeah, let's get
before
ourselves
we go
checked
out?
into this fancy place.
Indeed. So getting checked in is it's a Skye at this point has only started to become a tourist destination. It's 1938. It's this used to be a marble producing region, but that ended. A mixture of factors why it ended in 1914. So this area has actually been on the decline a bit. So finding a place, finding a room in the Broadford Hotel is not a problem at all.
Great. What time of day are we getting checked in?
It's about 2 p.m.
All right.
All right.
So should we? What's our story for the locals?
Oh, you think we need one? You think we need a
Tourism. 3
Sent by
Americans and a French.
sent by the government to investigate?
And a French.
Well, Monty,
And
you have
French.
you have you're going to you're working at the university somewhat. I mean, this is the closest to where you've worked before.
Mhm.
Maybe looking in on a student, something like that. I don't know, looking for teacher's assistants.
I could be working on a research paper.
All right.
That sounds good. I would like to go to, are we, is there a, I would like to see like a cafe or a little bar in the hotel?
Oh yes, there's a bar in the hotel. Absolutely, it's
Ah,
Scotland. There's of course there's a pub in the hotel.
I did not want to assume.
It's a very
So,
lovely pub, by the way. I recommend visiting it because I have. So please.
how delightful. I would like to go to the pub and I would like to go to the proprietor and ask if there are any people in the town that are in need of medical assistance.
Oh, so you're there is the clerk at the front desk is a Jacob Allen. He is, hey, what can I do for you? You if anyone
sorry.
needs you need medical assistance.
No, sorry. Could you repeat that, please?
Great. I said, do you need medical assistance?
Do I need medical assistance?
That's what you're asking.
No. Sorry. No. No, I am the doctor.
You're a doctor.
I am a doctor. Yes, we.
Hey, the closest one's up in Portree.
Closest. What?
Doctor.
No. Okay. No. I am. Do you need anyone who has medical? Do you? Oh, is there anyone here that needs medical assistance?
If they're sick, they go up to Portree.
No. Okay. Maybe we should get someone who understands the both of us.
Hello, here I am.
Ah, Monsieur Evans.
He's
would you
asking
please-
if there's
Lucas will
anybody
fix
who
everything.
needs anybody who needs a doctor.
Nay,
anyone here who needs
nay.
a
If they get
doctor?
sick, they go up to Portree.
There's nobody sick around here. I think we're good.
We're fine. We're fine.
Okay.
They're good. They're good.
That's right,
Jacob,
okay?
is it right, Jacob?
Aye.
Just curious. Is there a newspaper in town? Do you guys have a local?
Oh, aye.
paper?
I got a copy of it around here somewhere.
Oh no, I mean, do they have a headquarters in here in town? Do they have an
Oh,
office?
it's printed up in Portree. But we got our own branch down here. Yeah.
So they do have an office down here.
It's just a little thing. But they printed
Great.
it up in Portree.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah, I'll take a look at the paper if you don't mind, and if you
No,
could
here.
tell me where that office is, I would love that.
Yeah, it's the third. There's 2 cross streets, and then right after that, it's on your right.
Great.
Does anybody understand anything that he is saying?
Yes, he's
Oh, yeah,
giving
a
us
little bit.
directions to where things are. Yes.
This is just the best.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start thumbing through the paper to see if there's any mention of the stuff we're looking into.
So, so Jacob, what's the
Hey,
what have people been talking about recently? What's the
oh, those poor bastards that got themselves killed.
oh no. Did you know them?
Oh, I mean, not well. I knew them. I didn't know them, but I knew them.
But they came into the bar?
Not so much. This one.
They
It's a
went
little more upscale for their likes.
Oh, where do they usually go?
Well, yeah, Callum, he was a bit of a drunk. He would work down at he'd go fishing. Didn't have his own boat, and he would hire himself out. Lived over in Breckish. And, yeah, he was staggering home from he'd gone down to Kiraria, and to visit some friends, and apparently was stumbling back drunk from there when he got done in.
Any idea what happened to him?
Oh, well, the official types came and looked, and they don't know. I'm thinking maybe a Highland coup got him.
A Highland
whisper-
who would? All right.
They got
I lean over
the big
to
horns, and they're probably just.
Yeah, but they're not that aggressive.
Well, I tell you what,
Yes.
you go up and you get in front of one of them, and you see what it does.
He's talking about the people who he's telling me about the people who were killed. I'm getting information.
Oh,
Yeah, he wants you to stay away from all of the healing coups.
the what?
The healing coups.
What is
Hey, the
it?
healing coups.
Yeah, the healing coups.
Healing-
You stay away from the healing coups.
I'll draw a picture
What's this?
for you later.
Hey, the big
It'll be
shaggy
fun.
beastie out there.
Cows, dear. Cows.
tell her.
Oh, la vache. Mrrr.
Is your
That's
friend
on-
there all right?
She's French.
Oh, say no more, my friend.
Like, oh, just
Oh, my guess is he was probably gored by one of them. That was Callum. He was probably drunk and went and got too close to one of them and started messing around with it.
Oh, have you ever fought a cow before, Jacob?
Oh, gods no.
I kind of I lift up my shirt and you can see a bunch of scars. And I
Yeah,
just
what-
look at Dr. Sabine, just kind of biggest cow I ever seen.
Oh, were you a bullfighter then? Were you down in Spain? For their civil war, of course.
Greece, actually.
They bullfight in Greece.
I
really?
think this pudding is delicious. I don't know what you have to. Oh, yes, Greece, the place. Yes.
Oh, that black pudding right there. Oh, that's
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
Sheep's blood it is.
Mhm.
Did his wounds look anything like? Did Callum's wounds look anything like?
I don't know. I didn't see him.
Hmm.
I knew Liam a little better. He was he came in here once in a while. He's a little more well-to-do. He worked over at the market. He was a clerk.
Pardon. Oui. Are there any bodies? Are they buried? Do we have any? Can we see the bodies?
The graves. She's asking about the graves. Where are these men?
Oh, the graves. Oh, they're both well. Callum is buried over at the Broadford Free Church, right down the street there.
Mhm.
The Presbyterians, they're right over there, and they took Liam back up to Portree.
All right.
So can we examine the bodies?
How far are we from Portree?
Oh, Portree is about it's just up the main road along the coast, and it's about 20 miles up the road.
All right. Is there a car or anything we could rent, or a cab?
Well, there are no cabs here, but you could probably ask around and find somebody who'd be willing to drive you up there.
Fantastic, thank you.
Hey.
I would. Now I have heard of this. I've heard of Drambuie. I would like to try this very much, please.
Oh, just head right over to the bar there, and Jude will go ahead and just put it on your tab. He'd love to. He's bored over there right now. The workmen don't come in for about another hour or two yet, and usually it's only a couple because they're well-to-do types.
You're having some work done?
No. The workmen when they're done, when they're done for the day.
What are they working on?
What? No, the
Are they
workmen.
working on...
No. Hey, the men who work.
Oh. I thought they were building something in particular.
They probably are. I doubt they're building arbitrarily.
Now, who are these fellas? Who can it be now?
All right, I gotta stop and take a drink for that one.
I think I walk over and I just sit down by the fire and I wait for them to be finished because I have no idea what's going. What? Oh, where am I from?
Are any of these men at work named Rick, and are they rolling? Because
That's overkill. Come on. What are we doing?
Johnny, be good.
Johnny? Who's Johnny? She said, these are songs.
This whole thing was a mistake. It's a mistake.
Scotland's kind of a big country.
We have been derailed.
A big country dreams.
Hey, what about Colin?
Hey.
Colin, hey.
Yeah, I heard he has a real temper, sort of a real Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Jive kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't sleep at night.
You guys with these stories, you're just proclaimers.
Cha. All right, I think we've done all of the Scottish.
We're out. We're out
bands
of
that we all know.
all Scottish musicians.
Uh-huh.
They're all gone.
Every last one.
This is the game that's like our next adventure is going to be in Canada, so we can talk about Rush for a half hour. All right.
I'm in. Yes, let's do it.
we can't,
Rush,
there's a girl
Alanis
here.
Morissette, and
The Guess Who? Bachman Turner
Anne Murray.
The tragic
Celine
like-
Dion.
Just
Ladies
all
and
the
gentlemen.
Christmas song jokes.
What did you find in that newspaper there, Speedy?
I don't know. I've been thumbing through it looking for an article or something.
You did find a little police blotter report about how that basically says that Liam Hendry, age 29, was buried in Portree. He had apparently been attacked by something or someone on the Odell Pass Road that is on the way down to the ferry at Killary. The police are still investigating, and there are no leads currently. It then goes on to mention how Callum Milligan had met a similar fate a mere 8 days. I'm sorry, a mere 6 days prior.
I thought maybe we'd pay a visit to the office of the newspaper. They might have more information that they just haven't confirmed yet, and maybe could point us in the right direction.
That seems like a good
Well,
idea.
Jacob did tell you that he was right down the way. And it's only about 3 p.m. at this point.
The office, you mean?
Yeah, the office is only
Yeah.
two streets down.
Great.
As we walk, I fill Dr. Sabine in with all of the information. You know, who these bands are, what they.
I was very curious as to why everyone was singing all of a sudden.
Oh, that's just a thing that happens in
Scotland.
in bars in Scotland. Yeah. It's
Oh.
they're very jovial people. Love to sing.
It sounds correct. I mean, they have to be happy about something considering their weather is so terrible and their food. Oof,
By
oh la la.
the way, it's about 40 degrees, gray and slightly misting outside, which is typical.
All right.
Okay. I think I should not talk to anyone else.
Oh no, you should definitely talk to everyone.
Yeah, give them a. You want to talk to these people. You want to.
Every single person you meet.
I'm
Is
going to
that
say
to
this,
be-
and it's going to sound like I'm. I think you're going to pick Scottish up like that.
I mean, you yourself could embody the Old Alliance.
Oh, that is true. France and Scotland have had a really great relationship,
Yeah.
which is remarkable considering nobody could understand each other.
You know what? You all spoke High French. It was great. Or Latin.
Oh yes. Well, that is unfortunately gone out of the window. So here we are. Oh, I found another cat.
Another Scottish cat.
All the Scottish cats.
All right, let's take a walk.
It's a very short walk down to the newspaper office. There is
Awesome.
one gentleman in it. And when you open the door, which is unlocked, and there's a little bell goes off, and the gentleman looks up. He's a younger man, probably 25-ish, and he looks up and says, "Oh, can I help you?"
Yeah. Good afternoon. My name is Pete. These are my associates. We're reporters ourselves from the States, across the pond. And we were interested in doing some follow-up on the murders that happened here, and just wanted to ask around, see what you knew, and see what tips you could give us.
Oh, you're interested about poor Callum and poor Liam, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, come in. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Rory McDonald. Have a seat. And he scrambles around. He's got several chairs there, but there are stacks of old newspapers and such on them, and he quick clears everything off to make room for all of you to sit. Oh, well, please. Hey, please, sit down.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. Awesome.
You can call me Rory. That's fine.
Thanks, Rory.
So, news of our unfortunate demises of two of our denizens has traveled across the pond, has it?
Yeah. We just, we're just doing some follow up. Wanted to see what could happen.
But he got here awful quick.
We were over in Edinburgh.
Oh, that makes more sense. That makes more sense.
We'll wire the story back as soon as we have something to report.
Of course. I as a professional courtesy, I'm more than happy to let you know. But you're Americans, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Indeed. Please. I would gladly give you information, but I've got a question for you then at the end, if that's all right. An American perspective on something I'm curious about.
Well,
okay.
Maybe we start with that just to show you where we're coming.
You want to start with that? All right, fine. Give me just a minute. He scrambles around, eventually pulls out a pen and paper. He's like, all right. Let's jot down a couple of notes really quick. All right. So, you all know about Austria, right?
Yeah.
And Chamberlain, our prime minister, is going over to talk to all the parties involved and try to smooth things over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now
he's gonna try to appease them, kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't work, and it comes to war, would the American people be behind a coalition against the German Reich?
No.
No,
They wouldn't.
I'm just curious, as your opinions, as Americans, what your opinions are. It says, all right, one for no.
I can't really speak for the people of America.
But you as an American, what would you think?
Well, I think for one nation to violate another nation's sovereign borders is, the international stage can't let that sort of thing stand. But who am I to? No one's gonna. If I tell, hey, go back to your own country, no one's gonna listen to me.
I mean, we've become pretty isolationist over the last 20 years. After the Great War, I mean, we really, our people are really not looking to get involved in another one. And most of the Americans, most of the GIs coming over, we were signing up to fight with you boys. At first, as part of the expeditionary force, we weren't. I mean, it took a while for Wilson to even bring us in officially. So I don't see the Americans getting behind a coalition against Germany.
Yeah, it would take some sort of massive
big.
inciting event to get us involved. I think.
No,
some sort of some.
Well, I mean, hopefully it won't come to that. Hopefully, Chamberlain, nice man that he is, will figure something out and manage to smooth things over. It's a thought question, sort of a, hypothetical.
What are your thoughts on him, though? I mean, do you really want a nice guy right now? I mean, Chamberlain is a nice guy, but don't you want more of a bulldog right now? Someone to smack down at a bully?
Personally, I think if you got a bulldog running around loose, gnashing his teeth, it's just going to provoke him. So we just need to keep him quiet and to give him they're not asking for much. He wants the German-speaking people to be together, and I understand that, but I could see how it could spiral out of control. So I was just curious what your American perspective was. But you had questions for me.
Yeah, let's get to those. Speedy.
Yeah. So those murders, the two
Hey.
gentlemen, Liam and Callum. If you don't mind me asking, is there anything that's missing from the story that was printed from what the police are saying? I know sometimes you have leads that you haven't followed up on. Well, sometimes, if you haven't good press, if you haven't verified a story or verified a bit of information,
what we got here, hang on a minute. And he goes over to his desk, and they're under some other papers, but not very far. It's still fairly high up on his list. He pulls out, say, all right, well, so we've got Callum Milligan, 42-year-old, single man, lives over in Upper Breakish, had gone down to Kerraria, and on his way back late at night, presumably drunk, got into some sort of trouble and died of 2 large puncture wounds, right?
2,
one in
okay,
the chest,
right.
1 in the leg.
All right. I don't think we knew that number. Yeah, but yeah, 2. All right.
Then we come ahead here a couple days when Liam Hendry, let's see here, he flips through the papers. Liam Hendry here, 29-year-old, single male, employed at the Broadford Market. He had gone to Inverness to visit a friend and was on his way back, came across on the ferry, was on the same road, Odell Pass, when he met a similar incident. His puncture wounds were 1 in the leg and 1 in the back, it looks like.
Okay.
Do we know what the puncture wounds look like?
Well, I didn't see them myself, but from what the officer described them to me is they were like imagine a boar's tusk or something like that. Something like that big around, maybe, going into you. So bigger than any sort of knife or anything.
Were they, do you know?
Families?
I'm sorry, you're all talking at once. What was that?
Speedy, go ahead.
Oh, do you know, did the police document anything? Like, were they thrown? Like, if they were, if it was a cow, they would have been, or a bull, they would have been struck and probably tossed.
No, nothing along those lines, no.
Maybe even a boar would toss you as well.
In my day, I've seen boars do things even a boar wouldn't do.
I wonder.
I also wonder.
Did they have a family? Who did you talk to?
Callum didn't have any family, but Liam, he's got he's from up in Portree, and I don't know that he's got family per se, but I do know he hung out with some of my distant relations. There are other McDonald's up there, and he apparently was friends with a couple of them up there. This all around through here is you're American, so you don't understand. Yeah, you don't understand. The clans are still very important here in Scotland. So this area here where we are in Broadford and up to Portree is generally MacDonald land, although in the past the MacLeods have also been the influences swept over here as well. So sometimes it's the MacLeods, sometimes it's the McDonald's. So but he's friends with the McDonald's. Now, the McDonald's, they're generally nice enough people. They've got a son, Aiden, and Aiden's a bit of a I wouldn't call him a rabble rouser per se, but he's a big advocate of McDonald claims on all the land. And I know he's sort of got a problem with the McLeods, and I know that Liam used to hang out with him a lot.
All right.
Does that answer your questions, or can I tell you anything
very
else?
helpful. This has been very helpful.
Thanks for appreciate your professional courtesy.
It's just weird that it all happened down on the Odal Pass there.
And what's that
Why is
about that?
weird?
Oh, there used to be ghost stories about it back in the day.
Oh, see,
I
that's
don't know
why.
them so well, but if you went, you could probably go down to the church, the Broadford Free Church. They keep all sorts of records down there, and the pastor down there, the pastor down there, he's Brody is his name. He's a good fellow who knows a lot of the local folklore. He
See, that's where I come in. He's more of the journalist. I like to collect stories for supplementals and that sort of thing. So it's great that we'll get a little bit of color history.
Oh, he'd be the man to talk to.
All right. Well, I think that's our next stop. Rory, you've been a big help. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Oh, and you've been a grand help for me. Are you guys staying around for a while?
Oh yeah, we'll be
we're
here for a
staying-
few days.
Yeah, a couple days.
All right, then maybe we can buy each other around at some point.
Pleasure
That'd be
to
great.
honest.
I'd like that.
They're good to see you, and please enjoy your stay here in Broadford. It's a lovely little town. We've got a bazaar every Sunday.
Oh, when's
This one
that?
on night.
What day is it?
Right now?
Yeah.
It's a Tuesday.
All right.
I hope we're still here then.
Hey.
So, Dr. Sabine, what we just learned is that exposition, peace, and cares.
Merci. Okay, so we're going to see the clergyman.
Now, real quick, the Broadford Free Church is where we know Callum Milligan is also buried.
Oh, correct. So yes, I would also, I think, like to talk to the policeman if we have time. But we can go to the church first, if that is up for you.
Very well. You walk down to the Broadford Free Church, which is another 2 blocks down. It is not far away.
Did you really tell them that I was American?
I said nothing of the kind.
Speedy just kind of introduced us all as American.
Well,
Actually,
I
the
hope
Broadford
that's
Free
what's
Church is back up toward the hotel a little bit.
Ah, well then forget it. We're not going. We're not doubling back.
We move in one direction only in this game.
Only forward. Only forward.
Even if
we're
it's
side-
wrong.
We're a side scroll.
Thank you, Google Earth, for showing me exactly where these places are in relation to one another. So walking back up to the Broadford Free Church, it's a relatively simple structure, as the Presbyterians are wont to do. Just a whitewashed building moss growing on the roof sort of structure. The door, as it is only about 4 in the afternoon, the sun is starting to set, but the door is actually physically open. The midges haven't come out yet for the season, so there's not as many bugs in the air at the moment. And you can walk right in.
We do so.
There's a Presbyterian minister. He seems to be going around and dusting. Older man, probably 55 to 60. Silver hair, clean shaven. He looks up as you come in. It's good to see you. Welcome. Come on in.
Must be Pastor Brody.
I am he. You're new here. Who are you?
We were talking to some of the locals. We're just passing through. This might seem a little strange. We're kind of fans of ghost stories and folklore. And
are you now?
We heard that you spin quite the tale.
Oh, that's.
I hope we're not catching you at a bad. I know you're in the.
No, it's a Tuesday. No one comes in on a Tuesday usually. Oh no! Come on in. Oh, would you fancy some tea?
Love some.
Oh, I'll just put a kettle on. Hang on.
Very
follow
kind.
Follow me. And there's a little. There's like a little. I don't want to call it a rectory because it's just basically a room off to the side that apparently is his office space. And there's a little coal stove there. That actually it's got a lovely bacony smell is coming from the stove, and you can see that stacked up next to it are not coal, but it's little bricks of compressed some sort of greenery that he's feeding into it to heat it up. He puts a kettle on the top to start boiling the water. It's a delightful bacon campfire sort of smell coming out of it.
You burning peat?
Oh, aye, it's peat. It's peat. We use it for everything around here. He puts another little brick of peat in.
We shall not be burning Speedy.
No, Doc. It's P-E-A-T.
A-A-T.
Pate Moss.
Ah, of course.
The
I
supermodel?
knew that.
Now then, you're interested in the folklore of Broadford, are you?
Oh yeah.
What can I tell you?
Heard any good ghost stories lately?
Oh, there's all your standard sort of ghost stories that are throughout all of Scotland, the Kelpies, that sort of thing.
Sure. What makes like what's something that you tell to scare the kids into behaving?
What's this area known for?
Yeah.
Like, do you have a Loch Ness monster?
Oh no! Nessie's got her own thing going, but we're the very first road that was built, the first public road that was built on the island, ran from Kilrea up to Breakish, which is just only about 2 miles to the east outside of town here. And that was the first public road connected the ferry. But they said when it was being built, that the workmen kept encountering a strange creature called the Beast Berak. Tell you what, let me write that down for you so you can see what it is.
Great, thank you.
May I also look at this word?
Hang on, there it is.
Can
I
I,
think
do
you
a
just-
roll?
I think you just spilled your Scrabble set on the.
I would like to do a roll to see if I recognize this.
Oh, for
word.
your occult background?
Indeed, please.
Go ahead.
14.
14. Nothing specific, no.
Okay.
But he does tell you it's like that is that it basically means the beast, and we call it the beast of Odal Pass. Odal Pass is the name of the road that went from point A to point B, from the ferry Killeria up to Breckish. And when they were building it, they kept seeing this monster, and they said it was a shape-shifting kind of thing. Sometimes it was a man with only one leg. Sometimes it was like a giant greyhound or beast. Sometimes it had tusks and horns, and it kept bothering everyone building the road until one day there was actually a man found dead. This is back in the 1880s, I believe. And a man was found dead. And then after that, the beast never showed up again. Until some say only in the past 10 days.
You think 2 men killed on the road?
I'm sorry?
You think the 2 men killed on the road might have been
Well,
involved?
some people are saying that. I don't know what to believe yet, but some people are saying that it was the beast that did it.
Anything changed in the last 10 days? Like in the area? Weather? Something? Somebody
Not that I know of.
go
No.
someplace? Somebody
Not that I
cross
can
on the
think of
sacred
it.
ground they haven't done in a while?
No. If anything, there's even less and less activity going on. A lot of people are emigrating.
Yeah.
Maybe ask about the 2 the clans.
Aye. The clan's here, aye.
Yeah, do they fight?
Oh, no. I mean, they spar legally with each other, but they don't actually fight. Every once in a while, the McLeods will throw a lawsuit against the McDonalds and vice versa, but that's about it.
What did he say?
Nothing. They don't fight as much as you'd think. It's just yeah.
Okay.
There hasn't been any actual physical fighting since the 1700s.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we had heard about the murders. We heard that there was that one of them was laid to rest here.
Oh, aye, Callum. Callum was a local. He was an only son, and he was a hard man, hard living. He worked as a deckhand on fishing boats out of Broadford here, and he didn't really have anyone. He'd often go drinking, and my understanding was he was coming back from a trip down to Killeria, where he was drinking down there with some friends of his, and on his walk back is when the unfortunate thing happened to him.
Did you know the man?
I knew him on sight, but I didn't know him well. He was more of a bit of a He was the type of man I'd love to get into church to turn him right. But I never really had the chance.
Well,
Drinking, gambling, that sort of thing.
perhaps we should. Would it? We're strangers here. If that wasn't too obvious, would it be? And maybe to show our thanks that you have told us the story. This was fantastic. Aiden was right. You're just a heck of a storyteller.
Well, Aiden sent you.
We'd heard people talking, and I think that was his name. There were a couple of people in the bar around. I make
Only Aiden I know is Aiden McDonald. He was up in Portree until recently, I guess.
must have been somebody else.
Yeah, we were talking with
Rory.
Rory, yeah.
That's it.
Oh, Rory. Oh, Rory's a good lad. Over at the newspaper. Aye. He's a good boy.
But would it be? I suppose would it be improper if we were to go to his place and maybe say a prayer for him?
He's got a simple stone right outside here in the churchyard. Here, I'll walk you out. And he shows you outside. The sun is starting to set now at this point, and he leads you over to a simple plain churchyard, which has, maybe 100 stones in it, so it's not huge. Hey, here you go. This is you can see it just, and on it just says Callum Milligan, age 42, died March 10th, 1938. That's all it says. Still bare earth. Nothing has grown over. It's only been 10 days. No flowers or anything are on it.
I look at I send a knowing glance to Dr. Sabine, and would you lead us in a prayer, Pastor Brody?
Aye, of course. And he launches into a short prayer for the departed, for the things that strike you are for the unloved, that he would know God's love, that he was alone, but he would not be alone with Christ, and so on and so forth. But the theme that you get out of it was that this guy really didn't have anybody.
Sad.
Well, thank you so much for your time. That heck of a story. Out of curiosity, if one were to encounter I don't know what the beastie that you saw, what would one do in
I don't know. From my understanding, he's walking you back inside as he's talking. From my understanding, the beast was more of like a vengeful spirit that eventually killed the man who murdered him. So what it would be doing back, I don't have the slightest notion.
Just want to make sure we don't accidentally run across them.
Well, as long as you don't go out to Breckish out there and make a right down the old Odor Pass down to Killary, because that's the only place it's ever been seen.
All right.
We'll stay away from there.
Well, I mean, unless you need to take the ferry back to the mainland, then you kind of have to go.
Reverend, quick question. Do you think the police would have taken any photos of the puncture wounds?
Well, I don't know that Idris, if Idris got his camera out and took pictures, I would imagine he did. If he could find his camera.
All right. Thank you so very much.
Idris isn't very organized.
I'm sorry, you clipped out there. I didn't hear what you said.
You said Idris is not very organized. He lost his,
Idris.
he
Idris
doesn't,
Wilson. He's my he's the police officer.
He said if he can find his camera, does he not? Is he not well organized?
But he's just one man, and he tends to get overwhelmed.
Got
it.
And where is he right now?
Portree.
Up in Portree, of course.
Oh, if you're not from around here, Portree is the unofficial capital of the island. The island is spread out, but it's the biggest town. It's about twice the size of Broadford here, and it is by far the biggest settlement on the entire island. Most everything happens up there. Our post office is up there that connects to the outside. Everything, all the mail goes to Portree first, and then out from there. So that's where our policeman lives. That's where our 3 firemen live.
Fantastic.
That's where the
Thank you
doctor
so
is.
much. Great. Thank you, Reverend.
Well, the pleasure's mine, and if you're still here come Sunday, you're more than welcome. We're open to all denominations.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you,
so much.
Pastor. I appreciate it. All right, where to now, gang?
Okay, so
The sun is starting to set at this point.
should we?
You want to go
I'm
I
already-
really
walk
can't make,
I was just say, do we want to go walk a lonely abandoned road after sunset, just to see what happens?
I mean, that is fair. I would also like to go to the town. What's the name of the town where everybody
Portree.
is?
Portree.
Portree. Okay. I cannot really ascertain what we're dealing with unless I see either photographs or the wounds themselves.
I'm going to take a moment and show you some maps, so you can get a grasp of where things
Yes,
are.
that'd be helpful.
Yes, please.
This will be helpful. This is a map of the Isle of Skye. You can see down. There's Broadford.
Oh, okay.
Is in that little scoop. It faces north.
Yes.
If you look, there's a pink area down below and to the right of that. And then there's Glennerleg is on the mainland. Right across from that is where Kyleria is. So basically the road goes from where it says Broadford to there. That distance is only about 6 miles. If you follow up the eastern coast of the Isle of Skye, you will see Portree is up the way there. Portree is about 20 miles. It's about 15 miles as the crow flies, but because of the road, it's about 20 miles to Portree.
Maybe even less than that, just with our plane.
Yeah, it's on. Looks like it's on the water.
It is. Portree is a coast.
Very good.
Oh, flying there probably take you 10 minutes. You probably spend more time powering up the plane than you would anything else.
Say, we got some. By the time we do pre-flight checks and everything, and
so that's the general island of the Isle of Skye. And then let me show you Lower Skye, where you can see. There we go. Now you can see Kyleria and Breckish are both visible on that northeastern lobe of the island.
Okay, I was saying, I understand how that is said and spelled now. Okay.
Those pinkish areas are elevated land. So the road runs down through that. That's why it's called Odo Pass.
Cool.
All right, makes sense.
Yeah.
Got it.
Maybe.
So really, you're
what-
only about 6 miles at most along that road is where these murders, accidents, supernatural events occurred.
Well, okay. I mean, we can. Well, I feel like we have 3 options, or 2 options, really. We can go take a walk, as Mr. Speedy has suggested, or we can stay the night in the hotel and then go up to the name of the town.
Portrait.
And
Portrait.
Portrait. Oui. And see the doctor or the policeman there. Or maybe the doctor if he had examined. I don't care. Either way.
I think it's worth taking a walk, and also maybe we can start figuring out what does a Scottish monster have to do with a South Pacific cult.
That is a very good question, one I have been pondering myself.
Well, he said he was a fisherman.
That is very true.
Oh, maybe he pulled something out of the water.
But the same South Pacific cult who we found in the Mediterranean.
They have a
We
very
also-
long arm.
Right. We also thought puncture wounds might be bull related, but it sounds like it might be something else. So we're just trying to connect the dots. I mean, this is going to be as gloomy as the weather is, and as gruesome as this attack is. I feel like we have a little bit more. I don't know. We have more to go on than we did before in other situations, and I mean there is the language barrier, but you're doing fine, Doc.
Thank you, Monsieur Evans. I do not understand how you can understand anything that they are saying, to be honest.
We understand you, Doc.
Oh, thank you.
So what is
So,
your plan of
walking
action
from
coming
here-
out of the church?
Well, if we walk, it's about 6 miles from the church to this spot. If we were to, but the church is also near the inn, so we could essentially walk down to the spot and walk back. That'd be a 12-mile walk at like 4 in the afternoon, 5 in the afternoon.
You're about 5 now.
I would imagine that it's not exactly. It's 6 miles to the other town. Yes.
It'd be a 12-mile round trip.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
But here's the thing: if we go, I will not go without a torch.
Of course.
I would assume that they've got at least one torch or flashlight amongst you.
Yeah.
Speedy, at the very least, has one in the plane.
Yeah.
I would imagine Montana Smith normally carries one with him too when he's
Usually
out
in
of
my-
university.
Usually in my bag.
Yeah, I've got one.
Unfortunately, I do not have one in my medical bag.
All right, let's take a quick moment. And what are you carrying with you? We'll start with Montana Smith.
On my person right now, I just have my normal going
Satchel?
about satchel. Has a notebook in it, pen, flashlight, and a brush, a brush, a little pen knife, and some granola for snacks.
Very good. Dr. Sabine, what do you normally carry with you?
I currently have a fully stocked medical bag. I made sure that I got all of the necessary accoutrement that I would need for this expedition before I left. And other than that, a
Just
little
personal
notebook,
effects.
and that's it. Yeah.
All right, what is a Speedy carrying around when he's away from the plane?
I think he doesn't have a ton on him other than his sunglasses. He does carry a dive knife with him.
All right.
But
Keep in mind, you also are right. You are literally less than 100 yards from the hotel.
Right.
So you could easily go back and grab anything that you might have brought with you.
Yeah, I
Lucas,
don't have any like weaponry.
What's that?
I don't have any like weaponry or anything to take with me.
Okay, or if, you could easily get your flashlight from the plane, no problem, all that kind of thing. Right, Lucas, what would you be carrying around with you?
I would absolutely have a gun on me. I'd also have a flashlight, but like a big heavy one where I have a flashlight, but it's not really for. I don't use the light part of the flashlight as often as I do the heavy end.
Very well.
So you're carrying a 1938 version of a mag light. All right.
Essentially, yeah. Yeah, just like the just like what does it turn on? Oh, because I put rocks in there instead of batteries.
Batteries.
No, it's pretty heavy and pen and paper and a couple of flasks.
I'm imagining one of those old time flashlights where it's the cone, but then it has like the brick battery underneath it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can hit somebody like a handbag with it.
Yep.
Very well. So you gather your things and you start off down the Odo Pass Road. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Very well.
Unless right nearby there is a charming bicycle rental place.
No bicycle rental place.
All right.
You see a couple bicycles around.
Good to know they're there if we need them.
Don't steal it. We're in Scotland. We're in a civilized country.
Scotland?
I'm sorry, did you just say we're in Scotland? It's a civilized country?
Yes.
I was about to say that is not exactly accurate, I don't think.
Agree to disagree.
I was going to say neither way. I just wanted confirmation.
Scots are noble people. Boy, oh boy, is there anything more charming than a Scotsman on a kilt on a bicycle on a summer day?
I would not know.
But now that image is in your head, everybody.
Well, that looks fun. And oh god!
Are we going to be expecting next year the Hob the Troll calendar complete with kilted Marilyn Monroe pose?
Oh, I'll never tell.
I want to see Hob on a bicycle.
Yeah,
an old
Big
timey
old
bicycle.
bearskin rug.
Yeah.
Oh, this is excellent. All right,
Hob on a bike.
Okay. So shall we?
Very well. You start making your way. You make your way to the little village of Breckish, which, again, for those of you who are curious, this is a modern day picture of Breckish. This is what it looks like now. So single track road, passing through. You go through Breckish, and then there's a road very similar to that turns off and makes its way down to Kailaria. The landscape looks very much, at first, like this background picture, this kind of moorland. Not a lot of forest. But as you move along, it becomes a lot hillier. In fact, flat out mountains. While not terribly high, they are several hundred feet high, and you are just barely above sea level. So it looks a lot like this as you come out. Actually, this picture is taken from just to the west of Broadford. So you can see that there are some woods that come out, but generally it's moorland and then hills. The sun has gone down, and your torches have come on to light your way. It's a decently traveled road. You don't see anybody else on it, but from your understanding, usually somebody is during the day anyway. There's usually a person or two traveling along it. And as you continue through the evening, the clouds, there's a moon out, but you can't see it. The clouds create just basically a light blot in the sky where the moon is behind. There's a light mist that occasionally washes across you as you trudge through the moorlands. And as you come between the two mountains that form the pass, all of your ears prick up as you hear a sound. It's a cross between the howl of a dog and the baying of a goat. The sort of whinnying, the nickering of a goat. It is between those two things. It echoes across the hillsides. And as you look up, you see on the hill, not far from you, in the middle of the road, as the road rises up in between to go through the pass, there is a thing in the road. It is the size of a large pony, small horse. It looks vaguely canine, but one of its front limbs tapers to a point, and it gleams like bone in the beams of your flashlight. It raises its canine-like head and bays at the moon behind the clouds one more time, and then it begins to run down the hill directly at all of you. And that is where we're going to stop for tonight. Friends, this has been Gothic Horror Gaming. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be picking this up again next week as we find out what this thing is. It's charging at them down this lonely hill in Scotland. But unfortunately, we're out of time, so we will see what happens next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. But let us meet our players now that I've left them in the lurch in the middle of all this. So may I introduce first Montana Smith. Montana Smith.
Hi, everyone. Hi, I'm Dan Kostelik. I am often your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare at a Renaissance festival near you. And my streaming show, Writing Sonnets with Shakespeare, is back right here on the Nat 21 Adventures Twitch channel, Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Please tune in, like, follow, subscribe. Go follow my socials. It is the only way I judge my self-worth in life. And I also have my podcast, Shakespeare's Coffee Break, after having taken a year-plus hiatus. That is coming to the podcatcher of your choice in February. Fantastic interviews with some really fun and interesting people, some of whom actually also appear on this show. And you can follow me and do all of that fantastic stuff by going to my website, hobthebridgetroll.bandcamp.com.
And we also have with us Dr. Sabine Clement.
Hello, everybody. I am Katie Hauser. You can catch me at Rune Away with Katie. I do rune readings. I also am a performer as well. I have a couple of things in the works, but can't confirm it yet. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, you can find me at hobthetroll.bandcamp.com.
Very well. And then we also have the eponymous Hob the Troll. We have Lucas Evans down here.
Hello. You can hobthetroll.bandcamp.com. Hob the Troll is going to be at the Pinellas Medieval Fair in Largo, Florida, February 10th and 11th. And Steve O'Dockerson here, this guy, is slinging creme brulee for Chateau Hiblet over at the Brevard Renaissance Festival. And you can go to Rune Away with Katie at Instagram. And yeah.
Hey, so you're telling me that there's a Pinellas Medieval Fair in Largo now?
It's a new thing, and it's run by some farm folks. It's a brand new thing. They're trying it out. Yeah.
That is fascinating. Years ago, people who have been on the Renaissance Fair circuit for years and years, the Bay Area Renaissance Festival used to be in Largo, Florida.
Yes.
That was actually my first show I ever did on the road outside of my home show of Pennsylvania. And that is fascinating to me that 20 years later, they're doing a medieval fair there now.
Yeah, I think it's just this it's a first year kind of show. We'll see how I think I'm very excited. I'm very excited to be performing so close to my own home.
Yay! And I'm glad for you, my friend.
Thank you.
We also have Speedy Pete Boyd.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ryan Gelotti. I'm one half of the Buckle and Swash comedy sword fighting show. You can see us next at the Florida Renaissance Festival, starting the first weekend of February, which I don't actually know what that date is off the top of my head.
Second and
I
third.
think the third.
Sure. Say that.
That's
Third and fourth. Excuse me. Third and fourth.
Yeah, so we'll be sword fighting there for 8 weeks of that festival. I will also be one of your dungeon masters on the Nat 21 tour of England playing D&D. That's the one I'm looking for. Thank you. Renadventures.com, playing D&D in a castle in England for about a week. I am looking forward to that so very much. That's going to be spectacular.
You're going to love it.
Yeah. You can get
Hello,
more
I'm the Blue
information
Master. My
about
name
that.
is Tom Zadoyko. I will also be dungeon mastering at the Muncaster Castle with Ryan Gelotti. I'm the other half of Buckle and Swash. We will be at the Florida Renaissance Fair in Deerfield Beach, Florida for 8 weeks, starting on February 3rd. After that, Buckle and Swash can also be found at the Tennessee Renaissance Festival and every weekend in May. So please check us out there, where you can also find Hob the Troll at the Tennessee Renaissance Festival in May. And Buckle and Swash, we were nominated for the Renaissance Fair Podcast Awards. You can go to the Renaissance Fair Podcast on Facebook, and you'll see the link to the voting there.
All of us were actually.
Yeah, I think
All of
every
us
single
were,
one of
actually.
us is nominated
Mhm.
somewhere in there. We're all in different
I'm not.
categories, I believe, though. So Chase Treasure's in there with Katie. Dan with Shakespeare Proves is in there. Hob the Troll is in there. We're in there.
What?
So feel free to go on over to the Renaissance Festival Podcast Awards and vote for your faves. I hope they're.
If Hobbs not in there, you can vote for him anyway at hobthetroll.bandcamp.com.
That's
yeah,
right.
and you can also vote for him as your second favorite jousting company in the Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
That's true.
I think you can
Nothing's
also
stopping you.
I think it's also there's a place on that site where you can nominate stuff for next year as well. That is what I was told. Also, we talked about this. We're going to be talking about this in a little bit. Like I became a Patreon member of Nat 21. Yes.
Ooh.
'Cause
Yes,
there's
I
a-
was about to mention that.
Yeah, there's a tier on there that's
I've been
free.
remiss in the past. If you enjoyed this channel, Nat21, we do have a Patreon, and you can also go to Coffee, KO-FI. We have an account with them as well. If you want to contribute to Nat21 to keep us going, to keep us broadcasting for you guys. You can certainly become a Patreon. There are special Patreon events for Nat 21 where they do games where the Patreon Saints can actually play in those games with us. So be sure to check it out at Patreon. Look up Nat 21 Adventures, and you can find us there. Speaking of Patreon, I just should always plug myself. I did not know that, as Handler Z in the background just put this up. Patreon has a brand new feature where you can join many groups for free, so be sure to go over to Patreon and check it out. But as I was about to say, Handler Z and I, we also have a Patreon. We created this book Dare, which is available, but it's horror, short fiction, science fiction, some dark poetry. But you can also go to our Patreon at Quill and Quote, where you will get them as we write them and record them. You do have to actually type in the whole thing, Quill and Quote, because it is for 18 and over only. So you can't just search us on Patreon. You actually have to type that in. And as long as we're on sponsors, we'd also like to thank 3dtu.org, our good friends over there, making 3D printed and laser woodcut gaming accessories. Check them out at 3dtu.org. And also Ren Adventures, which we already plugged, but I do want to say again that you can join Ryan and I, and also Paulo Garbanzo, who most of you know as our glorious leader here at Nat 21. The three of us will be your dungeon masters over there in England. I know we've sold a decent number of tickets already. There's still room, but it's starting to fill up. I know if it fills up too much, we can possibly add an extra week, but that is not set in stone. So if you are interested, please be sure to check it out at renadventures.com and sign on up for the thing. I am stupidly happy and excited to be doing that this year. I am so thrilled.
Come play into
I'm just going to jump in. Yay, join you in England. I just wanted to jump in real quick since Dan was promoting his stuff to let you know that I should be back doing Flash Phantasmagoria next week at 10 a.m. on Thursday. We're going to try it out and see how well things go with having a 3-month-old in the house. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully I'll be joining you soon.
The Deep
That's
Space
right. Next
Nine
Thursday,
of the
Flash.
writing shows.
Flash writing show, Flash Phantasmagoria. She takes your prompts. She writes some Flash fiction. 10 a.m. on Thursday, not tomorrow, but next week. We're going to get that started back up again. And next Wednesday, we'll be back here and we'll see what the Beast of Odal Pass has in store and how exactly does this relate to Nyarlathotep. I'm curious to know as well. It'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you had a good time. And we'll see you next week here on Gothic Horror Gaming on Nat 21 Adventures. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Mwah.